Are you tired of that 9 to 5 grind and you're yearning to have financial freedom? Basically thinking that your home service business, it's going to be that ticket to easy street where money just flows and you're going to be able to take weekly vacations, sipping margaritas on a beach, just living the life. Wouldn't that be great? Yeah, that sounds absolutely great. Where do I sign up? Well, if that sounds familiar, you are not alone. In fact, the internet is flooded with promises of effortless wealth and instant success. But the truth about owning a home service business, or any business for that matter, is that there's often a stark contrast. That's why in this video, we're going to break down basically the biggest myths, peel back the curtain. We're going to give you an honest, unfiltered reality of what it really takes to own a home service business and to utilize this home service business for that financial freedom that every single one of us are trying to accomplish. Let's party. Hey pros, thanks for stopping by. My name is Santiago. I happen to own a home service business. SOS Garage Door Service is my business, and I've been able to build a great small business here in my local community in Southern California. And there has been a lot of lessons that I've learned, I would say, throughout the 20 years that I've been doing this. And one of the things that has just always come back to my mind is the reality that a home service business is not what everyone think it is. In fact, any business for that matter, when you are starting a business, you want to take into account that every business is going to take a lot of sacrifice in order to maintain it, in order to utilize that home service business to grow to a degree where you'll be able to provide for your family, sustain a lifestyle that you like, and of course, to be able to contribute to a community, and then someday, later down the road, be able to retire, perhaps maybe cash in on that financial freedom. Maybe you might even sell the business, so that way you're not having to work the rest of your life. That does not sound appealing to me. And that's not one of the reasons why I have a home service business. I'm the type of person that I will probably work till the day I die. And that to me sounds great. It's not so much that I want to die and then I want to die working. Don't get me wrong. I enjoy working. I enjoy working in my business. I enjoy working for my family. But the truth is that I know that for anyone who's wanting to get into the home service industry, they have to be able to understand, they have to have that reality check on what it requires to get started, what it requires to basically pretty much go through the misconceptions or get through the misconceptions of what passive income is and how it's important to work on your business as opposed to working in your business. We'll cover that in this video. But take into account that the concept of passive income is heavily romanticized. Have you heard that yet? Have you heard on the internet, yeah, why don't you just go ahead and start today, start this program, start reading these books, start doing these things, and your business will just start cashing in, flow of money. I wish that were true. And I think a lot of people would probably have more businesses if that were the case. But the reality is that, and especially online, you'll see a lot of these courses, you'll see a lot of these programs, coaching programs that will promise such a thing, but they don't necessarily deliver, just for the mere fact that effortless money coming in is not a reality. Now, granted, you can definitely build something and put it in place online so that way you can sell it, and that will definitely provide you a level of passive income. But when it comes to a home service trade, a home service business, well, a lot of the work that is required up front has to come from you. So take into account that for home service businesses, those first few years are crucial. Why do we say they're crucial? Well, it's because a lot of that blood, sweat, and tears that goes into a home service business, again, it comes from you. You're going to have to basically wear all these hats and work pretty much intense hours, or I would say probably grueling hours. You'll work in intense schedules. You'll often find yourself pretty much being the problem solver. You're going to be basically customer service. You're going to be building on the brand. You're going to be marketing. You're going to be looking at logistics, customer satisfaction. You're going to be trying to talk to the vendors or perhaps distributors. Your entire time throughout starting the home service business, your entire time will be divided out of several different hats. Now, I'd like to be able to just quote something that one, very popular YouTuber, MKBHD, Marquez Brownlee, he basically uses the analogy of an octopus. And whenever an octopus has all of his tentacles, the octopus has the ability of doing many different things. Well, he uses that illustration, that analogy, to help people understand that in his home service, or in his business, I should say, he's not really a home service provider, but in his business, he needed to be able to branch out and use his tentacles to have other people handle certain aspects of the business. Because in the very beginning, he had to be that octopus that had to do those different things. So he had to basically write his scripts. He had to edit his videos. He had to shoot his videos, do all the lighting. He had to do a number of specific things so that way he could get his business up and going. And I know this is apples and oranges that we're talking about, but the gist is that you have to be prepared to sacrifice a significant portion of your personal life. When that's explained to someone who, again, is looking to start a home service business, I would say a lot of people probably get blindsided. I think a lot of people think like, oh yeah, I don't know if I wanted to sign up for that. I don't know if I really want to give that up. I know that for me, and I remember the first few years that when I started my business, I was working in San Diego, Southern California, and I would drive hours just to get to a job site. It would be at least 2 hours driving south and 2 hours, sometimes even 3 hours, depending on how bad the traffic was. And I remember thinking like, wow, I'm giving up a lot of time. I wouldn't get home until super late. And that was kind of just like part of the course, or it came with the game. In other words, I knew that if I was going to start my own home service business, these were the things that I was going to have to do in order for me to be able to, do the business that I'm working in. So that being said, and I'm just take into account, again, I'm not trying to discourage anyone starting the home service business. Just keep in mind that your hobbies, your weekend getaways, your family sometimes could take a back seat. And that makes me sad. It really does, because again, on the internet, you're going to find all these different people telling you specific things with regards to starting a home service business, and it's just not true out of the bat. You are going to have to sacrifice a lot. Success in the early stages frequently comes at a personal cost. It's a trade-off, to be honest with you. And you think about that, okay, well, why is it a trade-off? Well, a trade-off, in essence, is basically you are trading the time that you're doing now, the time that you're dedicating now, to be able to have or buy back that time in the future. Now, that's an important point to cover, and we'll cover that, especially in the financial freedom portion. But explaining, again, the misconception of how, again, we would romanticize having a business that's going to just give us all this cash flow without any effort, without any active participation from us. It's just not real. We've got to be able to give a lot in the beginning, sacrifice a lot in the beginning in order for that to happen. Now, many people envision themselves as being like a big boss when they're starting their home service business, trades, and a big boss is like someone that basically, like, he calls the shots, he's delegating, he's telling people what to do, and they picture themselves basically pretty much operating the business, again, working on the business, but from a distance. But the reality is, especially when you're first starting out, you'll be wearing all these different hats, like I had mentioned earlier. Now, When I think about that specific scenario in my case, there were so many hats that I was wearing at the time when I started my home service business. I had to be my own advertiser. I had to be my own customer service. I had to call for the jobs. I had to schedule the jobs. I had to book the job, or scheduling is booking, but I had to basically build the jobs. I had to do everything to make sure that the material was at the job site. We had to get the work done once it was at the job site. And then from there, I was cleanup. After cleanup, I had to drop off whatever garbage or whatever wasted materials that I wasn't utilizing. From there, I had to make sure that the trucks were clean. I had to make sure that the trucks were gas. If all of this sounds like it sucks to you, I'm so sorry. Again, I'm not trying to discourage you, but the truth is that again, we are talking about a home service business that requires a lot of time, a lot of work from you wearing different hats, utilizing those tentacles if you are an octopus. And let's not forget that there's a lot of administrative roles when you're looking at, for example, paying the advertising. If you're using Google AdWords, if you're utilizing Yelp or Facebook ads or anything like that, you're going to have to dedicate a lot of time to being able to manage that. If you have an employee, well, yeah, you're going to have to manage payroll as well. All of these things, again, in the beginning, will require a lot of sacrifice, a lot of time for you. So there we have, again, another misconception. Just we're peeling back the curtain. We're showing everybody, we're exposing the truth on what it means to have a home service business. Now let's talk a little bit about financial freedom. Financial freedom it's a myth, guys. It's a myth. Basically, there's three phases, and I think Alex Hormozy posted this not too long ago. It was really good. I thought it was an interesting idea. People try to make money for the things that they buy. Once they make the money, they keep buying the expensive stuff, the fancy cars, all of the things that pretty much they think that might make them happy. And then the third step, or the third stage, is basically saying no to the things that you know you don't want to do or not worth your time and not really does not have any value. People never get to number 3 stage because they're too busy at number 2. In other words, they're buying the toys, they're taking the vacations, they're doing all of these different things that, quite frankly, could be the allure of having a home service business, thinking, perhaps maybe quantifying, putting the numbers like, oh man, I could be financially free by 10 years, 15 years. Man, that would be great. And it is, the allure of financial freedom is a powerful motivator for aspiring entrepreneurs. I know it was for me, but the idea that you quickly become wealthy and then you'll be able to quit your job and live a life of luxury, that even though that's a very seductive dream, and notice that word seductive is actually a negative thing, it's not the truth. Financial freedom does not necessarily mean that you're going to have the freedom to buy everything. I mean, because if you think about that idea, having the financial freedom to buy everything, well, then you're going to have to still make a lot of money to buy all of that everything. And so that doesn't mean, or that will mean, that you're going to have to continue to work on your business. You're going to have to continue to give and sacrifice and keep feeding the machine that's going to put out money so that you're able to do the things. Now, I don't think financial freedom is a reality. I think being financially free, what it means to me, I'll share what it means to me. Being financially free to me is basically having the right amount of money, the enough money to be able to do the things that you want. Notice that I said do the things, not get the things. Because we're too busy, we're too occupied on getting things. We're just too occupied on things. Things do not necessarily create value. Now, I'm not saying that, there's no value in some things. I mean, people have a lot of value in certain things that are dear to their heart. Like I love camera gear. I love all this stuff that I set up, the lights and everything like that. I mean, this stuff to me, this is fun. but I know that that's what I attribute value to. It may not be valuable to someone else. And therefore, if I have the financial freedom to do this stuff, to buy this equipment, well, that's great. That's for me. Now, I'm not buying cameras and lights every day. I don't need to. Because the reality is that to do these videos, to do the work, to do this type of work, to do the work in your home service business, you really don't need much. You just need enough. So I want to paint a very clear picture here. Financial freedom is the ability to be able to do the things that you want. Think in terms of, like, for example, maybe someday when you are working, maybe you get your home service business to a certain level where you're like, you know what? I'm not going to work on Friday. I'm going to take Friday, Saturday, Sunday off. I'm going to be with my family to be able to enjoy that time. I can tell you that for me, those are the goals that I set myself in my home service business to have that financial freedom. And let's be clear, I should say. I'm so sorry, stumbling on my words. Starting a business involves significant financial risk. So there's no guarantee to success. You could potentially lose your entire initial investment if you are buying things and stuff and all these other products thinking that that's what's going to get your home service business successful. And that's just not the case. That's just not true. So it's best to start with less. In fact, if you can be happier with less, then at the point that you become financially free, you're going to see that trend will still continue. You're going to be able to have that financial freedom because of the things that you don't necessarily need. You won't have to buy them. You won't feel the need or the urge to buy them. You won't feel the urge or the drive to buy them. But what about experiences? What about being able to just enjoy certain things? Maybe anything that perhaps you haven't done yet. Horseback riding, surfing, snowboarding, hiking. Perhaps maybe you want to dedicate a little bit more time to your skills. Maybe you want to cook better. Maybe you want to be a better smoker or a barbecue smoker. Maybe you want to be a better griller. Perhaps maybe you want to be a better baker. I like to think of financial freedom as being able to provide me the ability to do the things and acquire the skills that I currently do not have. And when you're starting your home service business, again, that 9-to-5 grind is something that will probably still exist, if not even more, when you're trying to acquire the skills to make your home service business a success. But being financially free does not necessarily determine your value. By extension, the things that you purchase, the things that you buy, do not determine your value. What determines your value is who you are, is what you do. It's the type of person that you are that you're able to get, or I should say, you're able to contribute through your home service business to better the community. So, financial freedom, in reality, is what can help you to become the best person that you can possibly be through the vehicle that you've created in your home service business. Now let's go back to thinking about that 9-to-5 job, the time that's dedicated to nurturing your home service business. The traditional 9-to-5 job has limitations, right? You think about, I'm at work this time to this time. But there's a certain level of predictability. In other words, what's required of you from your boss is just from 9 to 5. And many people start thinking their business will have more control over their schedule, that they'll be able to set their own hours. But the reality of owning a home service business is that you're going to work a lot more than 40 hours. I know that I did. Remember all that time I was telling you about driving down to San Diego? Well, yeah, I think I probably dedicated hours of my life just driving through Southern California. Now I have it set up through my home service business where I try to stay 5-mile famous. Now you might have heard of that expression. That's not mine. A lot of the principles that I talk about in these videos, I've learned from other entrepreneurs, other people within the industry, but I tend to find that not all of it fits for me. So what fits for me are the principles that I share with you, and there are some other things that I have acquired, I have learned that I can share with you through our Brand Leads program, our coaching program. There's a link in the description. But the idea is that, again, the time dedicated to doing all of these things for a home service business, doing all of the work is what I really mean. It's not going to be 9 to 5. It's not going to be 40 hours a week. It'll easily be. In the beginning, it'll easily be anywhere from 60 to 80 hours, easily. And I don't want to kid you. I want to tell you the truth. This is my office, right? This is where I come and I do my work. This is where I have my SOS garage door business. I'll schedule jobs. I'll, talk to vendors. I'll basically get my sub out and stuff like that. And so here's where I do all of that. I used to take this work to my home. So when I would wake up in the day, I would try to get everything done in my business, respond to emails, do all that. I would drive to the distributor to get the parts for the day. I would drive to the job to get the parts and the work done. I would drive back, prepare for the next day. I would drive home, and then I would continue working. Getting ads out, working, focusing on my skills, learning more information, trying to build contacts. As you can tell, this is a huge reality check. Having a home service business, or any business for that matter, is going to require a lot of work. Now, the reason why I have decided to get this office is because now it's allowed me to differentiate what I do in my work life versus my home life. Because I don't want to take work home anymore. I mean, I still work at home. Unfortunately, I have to. Actually, no, not have to. I want to, because I really don't have to. If I didn't want to, I wouldn't. I would just basically say, you know what, I'm done. But I still do work at home. I'm sorry, I have to apologize to my wife, Sarah, because she tells me, she's like, you work all the time. And I'm like, I know, this is who I am. That's the principles that have been instilled in me. But I digress, because again, that work life, personal life, it becomes very blurred, especially when you're operating out of a home office. Now, in the beginning, you may not have the capital to work out of an office like this. Maybe you may not have the money. And that's just another thing that with a home service business, you're going to have to figure out a trade-off. All right, am I going to want to take my work home? I mean, yeah, because you could do things at Starbucks. You could go to different locations to, do the work that perhaps maybe you don't want to take home. But having a home office, it has its pros and its cons. Now, granted, I've gotten to the level to where, again, I try to stay 5-mile famous. So the work that I do is in my local area. I've set it up. I've built my business so that way I don't have to drive as far anymore. I definitely don't go to San Diego anymore. I don't go to LA. I don't go to Fresno. If I could have, I probably would have gone to Hawaii. I don't go to Arizona. I understand that if I'm going to be able to serve my community better, I have to do it in a way that I can keep the radius. I can keep that 5-mile famous radius nice and tight, so that way I can take care of those in a more efficient manner, keep them happy. Granted, that does take a lot of time. You gotta continue to nurture that. You gotta continue to give a lot of your time, a lot of your blood, sweat, and tears to this job. Now, to your home service business, which is still a job. It is what it is. It's a job. And if you're a young entrepreneur right now that's looking like, I want something bitter. It could make you better than a job. Then you're on the right track. You're in the right spot. But just take into account that you're just going to have to dedicate a lot of yourself to do this. And so that's what I've done. I feel I've reached a certain level of success that has helped me to do that. But I'm a cautionary tale. I'm a cautionary tale in the sense that there was a lot of sacrifice. I used to have a lot more color in this beard. I used to look a lot more younger, but yeah, it's taken a toll. I've had a lot of health scares. Why? Probably because I dedicated more time than I needed to my home service business. Is it worth it? That's a question that only you can answer. That's a question that for myself, I know I answered. And I will say yes, but not because of the things I've acquired or the things that I have. Even to a certain degree, the things that I've done. I mean, because I've done some pretty awesome things, you know. Been able to travel, been able to help a lot of people, been able to give back to the community. But I think more importantly, I think it's helped me. Owning a home service business has helped me to be a better person. It's helped me to be the type of person that knows how to deal with other people, that knows how to help other people, to know how to navigate through very tricky situations. The reality is that your home service business is going to do that for you as well. And a successful home service business is going to be that vehicle. Again, we could think it's that ticket to Easy Street, but it's not. It's a ticket to a very hard life with all these challenges and all of these situations that are going to test you as a person. You will make mistakes. You will say the wrong things. You will do the wrong things. You will probably say something hurtful. You might be said something hurtful. Your reputation might be tarnished. A lot of stuff could happen. Really could. I mean, it's just the truth. That's just the reality of having a home service business. But if you're honest with yourself, if you learn from those lessons, if you utilize this home service business trade as a vehicle to help you to become a better person, to be able to give to the community, then yes, yeah, it's worth it. It's worth it for me, for sure. So just to kind of recap, you know, think in terms again that your home service business, you're going to have to dedicate longer, unpredictable hours than a typical job, typical 9 to 5. There's significantly higher levels of stress and responsibility. There's a substantial financial risk. Yeah, you're probably gonna be in debt. You know, some debt is not bad, but you'll more likely be in debt. And there's gonna be that blurred work life, personal life line. Those boundaries are gonna be blurred. So it's crucial to be realistic and to understand that the challenges do exist, but not everything is doom and gloom. Again, this is not meant to discourage anyone. Owning a home service business can actually be incredibly rewarding. And at the same time, it offers a sense of independence and opportunity to build something that comes from you, something that's literally birthed from your efforts and driven by your hard work. I love that fact that I've been able to do that with my home service business and being able to help the community, be able to receive guidance, support, insight, encouragement. Yeah, I think that's what I'm able to do through my home service business. And at the end, thinking about financial freedom, well, yeah, I've reached a certain level of financial freedom. I don't have to work sometimes. Sometimes I don't have to work. And that's fun. Knowing the fact that I can do a job or I can make enough money to where I won't need to work perhaps a Friday or the next week or probably the next month. Now, that's not likely in my case. I'm always going to probably do work. I've now been able to dedicate a lot of time to this as well because this is also work. It's building my brand. It's building the next phase of what I'm going to do in my business, which will be able to coach and mentor and help other home service providers, other young technicians, managers, guys that basically want to get out of that 9 to 5 grind and start their own thing. And I'm able to kind of be there for them, kind of give them the ropes, especially those that are garage door guys. But this is one of the funnest things that I've been able to do. And I just wanted to share with you, it's just something encouraging that you as a person are going to be the most special part of your home service business journey. Your experiences, what knowledge you've attained and how you're going to be able to utilize it to help other people, that's going to be something special. And I can't wait to meet you on this journey. In fact, if you have any questions, reach out below. I know that some of you are watching. We're definitely building this channel, so that way we're able to do that. We also have our SOS Garage Door Service channel that's specifically designed to help with pro tips and tech reviews for residential garage door needs. But on this channel, we're going to speak a little bit more on that pro level, a little bit more on that level where most of you guys are probably thinking, yeah, I'm ready to make the switch. I'm ready to make the move. I want to be able to get my home service business to the next level. I want to be able to cash in on all of that great stuff and having a home service business. And I say that facetiously because, again, there's going to be a lot of sacrifice. But that sacrifice is worth it if you focus on making your home service business trade. You're making your home service business or any business that you start in, you make it so that way it nurtures and that way it builds something great in you, something great for the community, and something great for others.